Files through.
Welcome to the It's Your Business radio show, bringing you weekly advice from the best experts to provide you with insightful suggestions for your small business to allow it to thrive in the competitive marketplace. The It's Your Business show guides you through the uncharted waters of small business and gives you a voice on what can help you move your own business forward. Dr. Stan Fine and Melissa Coleman are here to bring you great content to help you kickstart your business and put into practice all the information that they share. Okay, audience, here's Dr. Stan and Melissa.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the It's Your Business radio show. I am one of your co-hosts, Melissa Coleman. Dr. Stan is still on break, recovering and getting better so he can get back to joining me here on the show. But we are a small business radio show designed to help small businesses grow and help themselves. And we have amazing people in our community that are here that join us every week. And today we've got Miss Kathy Lambert of KBL Partners. Impact Partners. Should probably have that right to begin with, Kathy. So Kathy believes everyone is a change maker. For over 23 years, Kathy has worked to end the generational cycle of poverty and incarceration through the development of innovative, evidence-based programs and strong collaborations as CEO and co-founder of Connections to Success. In 1997, Kathy launched Dress for Success Midwest to empower women to achieve economic independence by providing the network and support they need to navigate the world of work. In 1999, her husband Brad left his corporate career and began a nonprofit, Wheels for Success. In 2001, they merged their organizations to form Connections to Success, CTS, with a mission to break the generational cycle of poverty by providing hope, resources, and a plan. CTS is nationally recognized as an evidence-based model for improving children's futures by helping parents gain social capital and achieve economic independence. CTS model integrates employment training opportunities, life transformation coaching, mentoring, job development, and ongoing support services to equip participants for long-term success. Today, Kathy is the co-founder of KBL Impact Partners. Impact, not yes. Anyway, working with nonprofit organizations to scale their impact and diversify their funding through adopting a proven model for growth and sustainability. Kathy's work has received awards from the state of Missouri and nationally from the Department of Labor, Department of Health and Human Services, and the White House. Most recently, Kathy and Brad received the 2021 the Dennis Jones Philanthropic Award, the 2021 Focus St. Louis Alumni Award, and the 2019 Women of Influence Award by Rise in St. Louis. Kathy's commitment to her work has also led her to become a TEDx speaker, where she shares her insights on social impact and the importance of empowering individuals to achieve economic independence. Welcome to the It's Your Business radio show, Kathy.
Thank you, Melissa. It's wonderful to be here today. I'm really excited.
I know, I'm so excited. This was a little last minute and that you were free to join me. You know, I love how the universe just lets everything work out perfectly all the time.
Absolutely.
So I just want to remind all of our listeners that you are listening to us here on KXOK 102.9 FM and KWRH 92.9 FM simultaneously. Every Saturday, we're with you at 12 noon to 1. You can also catch us on KXOK Radio YouTube. That's the channel, KXOK Radio. We're here every Thursday live at 11 o'clock. I'm like, what time is it? And and also on Facebook Live, Rock Webster Radio, which you can always go back and listen to those shows anytime you want and get whatever information you might not have gotten when you listened to us the first time. So, and you can catch all of our platforms at usradionetwork.com. So just go to that website. Again, that's usradionetwork.com. network.com, and it will have all the platforms that we're on all week long throughout Monday through Friday. Actually,
Wow.
we're every day, all day, not all day, but several times a day. So Kathy, I am so excited to have you here. When I was looking for the show and thinking about being an educational business program, I was like, nonprofits. Like
Wow.
in the entire time I've been co-hosting with Dr. Stan, I can't think of anybody that really came on to talk specifically about nonprofits. And I feel in joining the board of Gateway to Dreams, which you just
Right.
recently stepped off of because of all you've got going on, I feel like I've learned so much of what I never knew went into a nonprofit organization. It is like a whole big new ball of wax.
It is, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
And especially if you haven't been in it before.
Yes.
And there's a lot of similarities with a for-profit business.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of different nuances,
Yes.
as you're finding out,
Yes.
with nonprofits.
Yes.
And I think the biggest misnomer is that when people hear the word nonprofit, they think of, oh, they don't want any money, right?
Exactly.
Or they don't need to make money, which is actually not the
Not
case.
true.
And
Yes.
that we as nonprofits, we want to make money.
Mm-hmm.
And it just is for social good and
Yes.
social impact.
Can we talk a little bit about that? Because I feel like, like you said, when you think of a nonprofit, you think that there's already all this funding that is available,
Right.
and you don't need to. So what I find the biggest difference for me, and correct me if I'm wrong, like a for-profit business, you rely on your salespeople.
Right.
For a nonprofit business, you're relying on your sponsorships.
You're relying on sponsorships, you're relying on donors,
Mhm.
and you have a board that also basically is responsible for that nonprofit.
Yes.
So if you're a founder of a nonprofit, like, I was, my husband and I, and so that's where it also gets a little bit tricky, right?
Yes.
Because then you also have this board, but how charities, nonprofits are set up within the United States, that board is the governing body.
Mhm. Yes. Yes. It is.
It
is. So let's kind of get into this, because you're going to really teach us today about scaling a nonprofit and making it profitable and all of those things. So can you tell us about your business and the services it provides to nonprofit organizations?
Absolutely. So at KBL Impact Partners, we actually launched this out of our passion and work for over 23 years, and recognizing that it was the hardest thing we probably ever did in our lives, but at the same time the most rewarding, and looking back and to see. And we reflected, and I'm just kind of giving you a little background of this because it took a little bit of time as we were transitioning to think about what is it that we want to do. And so I had worked with a coach, and the first thing she asked me was, well, how much money did you raise? And I said, I don't know. And I feel like that was such a crazy answer that I should know. But I was so focused every year on what our budget was. I could tell you what our budget was, but when adding it all up, and we added up, and we had raised over $43 million, almost $44 million. And
small chunk of change,
no.
Kathy.
and I'm thinking, so how did we do that? So we began to unpack it. And as we were doing that, the realization really came to us and hit us that we really wanted to do something and to form a business that we could help other nonprofits, to help them to scale their impact, diversify their funding, give them the tools and resources that they need to go to that next level. And just like a business, there's a nonprofit life cycle curve. And most of them, they're at all different stages, but whatever stage they're at, we want to be able to give them those tools necessary to be able to help them to do that.
Yes, which is amazing. Amazing. I've heard what Karen and Jenny, two of the people I work with at Gateway to Dreams, one being the founder, one being a volunteer, that they're learning amazing things going through your program.
Well, that's awesome. I love hearing that. And we use a lot of different strategies and methods. And just throughout the years, we've learned so much. I can probably tell you everything not to do because I did it.
I think that's all of us business owners. It's
Right?
like you know what not to do after you get to
Exactly.
the end.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Yes. Yes. So what inspired you to create a business that supports nonprofits, and how did you get started? Which I think we kind of shared, but let's go a little bit deeper. Like, what was that purpose? Like the big purpose in creating that?
So I think the big purpose, the question that I kept asking myself and also talking with other nonprofit leaders is, what is the one thing that keeps you up at night? And I reflected, well, you said it. What did you say?
Funding.
You mouthed it, Melissa, right? You're right.
Yeah.
It's funding.
Mhm.
It's how am I going to meet payroll? How am I going to pay the rent? How am I going to continue to do the services that I'm doing?
Mhm.
And as we were thinking about that, that was something that kept me up. That was something that every day was always on my mind.
Mhm.
And so I kept thinking about the other thing was the funding. The other thing that was on my mind is that I wanted the organization to be sustainable.
Mhm.
And Brad and I both, I mean, that was really our goal that, if we are good stewards of the funds and any nonprofit, we want that to go on past us and
Mhm.
to have that long-term sustainability.
Yes.
And so that means putting structure in place. That means being able to have strategies and being able to have your board and team all going together in the same direction,
Mhm.
but to build that long-term funding base to be able to have that sustainability.
Yes, yes. And I like that you use the word sustainability, because I think that carries over whether you're a nonprofit business or a
Right.
for-profit
Right.
business. Because I know for me, just having my skincare business, which, my business partner like loved the product part of it,
Right.
but spent nothing on, the building of the business and the sustainability of it. And
Right.
it's like, I think business owners get into things thinking of, oh, I'm going to do this great thing.
Right.
And they don't think of like that long term. It's like, how does this look once it's up and running?
Right.
And how does it keep going? Because none of us know
Right.
what's going to happen to us. And it's like, if you don't have those processes in place, and God forbid you get hit by a bus, it's like, well, what happens?
Right.
So-
Exactly. And with nonprofits, there is, this is something that I always go back to also. The National Center of Charitable Statistics, they revealed that approximately 30% of nonprofits fail to exist after 10 years.
Mm,
And
Yeah.
so that's pretty sobering.
mhm.
And the number one priority is being able to have money and to be
Yes.
able to get that money in, to be able to function. And again, as we just talked about, for that long-term sustainability.
Mhm.
And so we have a saying at Connections to Success: no money, no mission.
Right. No, and it's true. It is so true.
Well, it is. And
Yes.
I remember though, when I first started, I would cry when I would have to go and talk about money and raising money. And I just thought, I can't do that.
Yes.
Because as you just talked about, many times individuals, or we start organizations, or maybe it's a business, out of a passion that we have.
Mhm.
And I had this passion of helping women and helping them to get back into the workforce. And so then when I thought, oh, I have to go ask for money. And what I quickly learned is that it wasn't about me.
Mhm.
And I had to move past that. I had to have my mind shift to, what? It's not about me.
Right.
It's about the mission.
Mhm.
And it's about getting other people on board to help support the mission for that long-term sustainability and impact.
Yes. No, I love that, because that piece in and of itself, again, because I feel like there's so many things that carry over, whether a nonprofit or a for-profit business. It's like if you can't do the money piece, no
Right.
matter what the business is, then you can't sustain the business.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Exactly.
Yes. I was listening to this book, which is probably one of my favorite books by Jen Sincero. It's called How to Be a Badass at Making Money.
Oh, I
which
love that.
is so beyond the money piece, but she says in there specifically, if you like all aspects of the business except sales, she goes, you're not going to have a business.
Right.
And when you first start, you're doing all the pieces, whether it's a nonprofit,
Right.
for profit. It's like you have got to be able to ask for the money.
Exactly. You
So-
do. And you know what's really funny today? So now today, I love asking for money. And and the bigger the
Keeps the
better.
mission going.
That's right. The bigger the better. So that's really interesting. I love that. I love the
Mhm.
title of that book.
Yes, yes. No, it is a great book. So we can share again at the end. So, how do you determine which nonprofits to work with? And what criteria do you use to elevate their potential for impact and growth? I think that's like really important, especially if you don't work with every nonprofit.
Right, right. Well, what we do is we begin with the executive director. So the executive director really needs to be fired up and really passionate on addressing the challenges that are right in front of them and being able to not only for themselves, but if they have a staff to be able to get their team, if it's volunteers, if it's their board, they have to be willing to take bold steps and be ready to make some change.
Mhm.
And I think the biggest one is structure
Mhm.
and being able to take a look at also we take a look to see what are their goals, what is it that they're really doing. And it's surprising to me, so many have been doing this work for years. They haven't been looking at their outcomes and measurements,
Mhm.
being able to take a look at what is that social return on investment for what they are doing, what is the financial return on investment. And so if they're willing to, after talking with them, and so many amazing great missions, but they have to be able to quantify their data and be able to say this is the impact that we're having.
Mhm.
And so if they're willing to do that and put in the work, because we created a 12-week class, so it is work and it's kind of like a boot camp, but if they're willing to do that, they will make huge great strides
Mhm.
in helping their organization to create the momentum that they need to go to that next level.
Yes. No, I love that because I think we need that in general. You might have to, branch out, Kathy,
Well-
once you get this going and go to the for-profit side.
But I think that we can take that and flip this around for for-profit.
Exactly.
We can talk, Missy.
Yes, we definitely need to talk.
We'll talk.
So, what are some common challenges that nonprofits face in scaling their impact, and how does your business help them overcome those challenges?
So the biggest one, and I think we all can say this, whether you're for-profit or nonprofit,
Mhm.
time.
Time is always the big
hear
thing.
this all the time, but
All
I
the time.
hear this. I can't tell you. As everyone is, I don't have enough time. And I think one of the things with me transitioning from what from running the nonprofit is, and it's so fascinating what we learn, right, all along the ways.
Mhm.
And what I learned throughout the years of running it, is that so many times it's easier to do what you're doing versus taking the time to delegate to somebody else.
Mhm. Yes.
And to learn that we all have the same amount of time.
Yes. Yes.
We all have the same amount of time. So it's helping them to delegate, it's helping them to prioritize. It's really helping them to be able to see what can I let go of in order to go to that next level as a leader
Mhm.
and what I need to do.
Absolutely.
So those are some of the things that we work on, but time is what I hear over and over again.
Yes. Should we inform our listeners? I think it was Freud that said time is nothing but an illusion.
Yes.
And it comes
It
down
is.
to management. It is not about the time, it is the management of your day.
It is. And it's a mindset.
Yes.
And it's a mindset of, and saying over and over into your mind of, I don't have enough time. You're creating that. You're not going to have enough
Yes.
time.
No.
But if
No.
you shift it to thinking, I have enough time. I have enough time to get things done, what I'm doing, and being intentional,
Mhm.
you will be able to get done what you need to get done
Always.
always. And is slowing some, and I always heard this before too, if you that the faster you go is the slower you go.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
and those of us, and I'm so like included in this, that go fast and go 100 miles an hour, it's the hardest thing is to slow down and to be able to have that time, and because you get more done.
Yes.
But it is that
Yes.
mindset.
Yes.
It's
absolutely.
that mindset and that shift
Mhm.
to be able to do that.
Always, always. I just want to remind everybody, if you're just now joining us, you're listening to the It's Your Business radio show. We are talking about nonprofits today. We have the beautiful Kathy Lambert with us from KBL Impact Partners, and she is discussing what their program does to help you make your nonprofit viable. They have a boot camp that they've created to help you do that. So we're going to share some more about that. And before we go to break, Kathy's going to let you know how you get a hold of her. And if you want to sign up, you can. So, Kathy, what is the biggest challenge, which we kind of, I think, touched upon this as well already, for the executive directors and CEOs of the nonprofit?
Well, I think, what we talked about is time. And one of the other challenges is many of them feel like they don't have anyone to talk to, right?
Mhm.
And sharing concerns and positive feedback. But I think the biggest thing is that for them to recognize that they are the best person to raise that money.
Mhm.
If they're the founder, especially if they're the founder of the organization and having that passion, and many times that CEO, that executive director, that really needs to see that, yes, they can do everything else inside, but where their gifts are, really need to be out and meeting with someone because they're the ones that have the passion of why they started this in the first place,
Mhm.
and to know what's happening and to share the stories.
So is that after interviewing your executive director
Mhm.
or CEO, however that board is set up, is that when you decide as KBL Impact Partners who you're going to work with and who you are not? Because I feel like, like I said in that book, she said, if you can't ask for the money, you're
Right.
not going to have the business. So do you come up with those executive directors that maybe need to put somebody else in that place? Or,
Yes.
do you shift that around before you decide, hey, we can't work with you? How does that look?
So going through the process, we have an enrollment form, and then we also do interviews with everyone.
Mhm.
So depending on, also, I can always tell in the interviews and the questions that we ask where they are and what they're willing to do, and to be able to make some shifts, just as you said.
Mhm.
We look at also their boards and how their boards are designed. What buy-in do they have from the board? And how can we, if someone really, if that's not their gift to ask, to be the one that asks, then who is? Because there has to be somebody that can be identified in helping to do those, especially the big ask,
Mhm.
and to be able to help in that regard. So a lot of it too is through the class.
Mhm.
They gain the self-confidence, they gain the knowledge of really learning how to do the ask. And they also then, and it's always great, we always encourage like either a board member or another staff person to do this with them, or a volunteer
Right.
to do that with them.
Mhm.
But I think that everything has to kind of all align.
Mhm.
What someone that isn't a good fit is if they're not willing to change.
Right.
And,
Obvious.
and if they're not willing to change, and they're not willing to put in the time of what it's going to take, then this probably isn't for them.
Right. Right. Which makes sense.
Right.
That's in anything that we want to do. It's like if you're not willing to give that time and
Absolutely.
energy, it's not going to come, whether you ask for the money or not.
Absolutely. That's right.
So yes. So let me ask you, with the different nonprofits that you work with, do these need to be established nonprofits? Can they be a baby? I'm just thinking about this. We haven't quite hit the ground running yet. Do you deal on all levels?
So that's a great question. Generally, that we like to see the nonprofit they've been doing this for a while.
Okay.
A startup probably is not. We've learned by doing, right?
Yes.
Like
yes.
any business and anything when we were a startup ourselves. But what I've learned is that they need to at least have been in operation at least a year or maybe longer
Okay.
to be able to have their feet on the ground, to be able to know to be doing the work, because it does take a little bit to get everything set up.
Mhm.
And during the class, it's actually moving forward to be raising the money.
Okay.
So they need to have some of the structure already put into place as a formal nonprofit.
Mhm.
So as far as where are they, the stage of growth then after that, it doesn't matter. We've had organizations that have been around for 20 years,
Mm.
but as you know, with the same business curve, a nonprofit curve, when you get to the top, they need to reinvent themselves or they'll slide back down, right? They'll decline. So with that, we've had some large nonprofits that have participated. They've been at the top, but they're reinventing themselves
Okay.
to go up to that next level. So they're shifting, they're changing. And then some of them have been doing this work a long time, but haven't had the structure in place to go to that next level. They
Mhm.
keep going around the same thing over and over again and not being able to move that needle.
Right.
So they're all at different levels, which is great because it makes it for us is challenging. And it's also great for the cohort because we do our classes in a cohort model.
Mhm.
And it's great for them to have that peer learning and learn from each other. And then Brad and I we do a deep dive with each of the nonprofits.
Okay.
So we meet individually with them and coach them and help them on wherever it is that they need extra help with. That's what we do when we dive deep with them.
Awesome. Awesome. Believe it or not, we're coming up on our first break, our only break, I should say. And I want you to have enough time to share how everybody finds KBL Impact Partners, how they get a hold of you, what the next boot camp is that's coming up, and all those good things.
Wonderful. Well, they can reach us on our website at KBLimpactpartners.com. So www.kblimpactpartners.com. They can also call at 314-359-2524.
Repeat one more time.
The number is 314-359-2524. And you can find us on Facebook and LinkedIn. And feel free also to email me at Kathy@kblimpactpartners.com. That's Kathy@kblimpactpartners.com. We will have our next class coming up, I think probably June or July.
Oh, so they've got time to sign up.
They do.
And get ready. And real quick before we go back to the station for our advertisements, but can anybody all over sign
Yes.
up? Okay.
Yes, we do our classes virtually.
Oh, perfect.
So we also do other consulting services, training, and also I do a lot of executive coaching as well.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, everybody. We're going to take a few minute break here and let our advertisers pay our bills for us here. All right, everyone. Stay tuned.
Many small businesses do not have a marketing manager. In many cases, it is the company owner that drives marketing and sales efforts with the gut instinct to survive. Even when small businesses do have a marketing manager, though, many of them are trying to navigate through the complex sales and marketing landscape with little to no success or budget.
How to Promote Your Business with Limited Money is a general purpose how-to business book written for business owners and marketing professionals by business owners Dr. Stan Fine and Joseph W. Clote. This guide is not intended to be read as a front-to-back chapter book and rather serves as a quick reference guide. Refer to this book as you need specific information and skip around as needed.
Promoting your business with limited money is one challenging feat, but there are unlimited ideas you can apply to achieve objectives you pre-establish. So put on your marketing hat and let's take action to start showing your prospects the value your business delivers.
A little you need to know about Dr. Stan Fine. During his 60-year career, Dr. Fine has become an authority on sales and marketing business development issues. His presentations have made him much in demand as a speaker and seminar leader. He has taught business development topics at numerous universities across the United States and has conducted over 500 sales and management seminars. Some of Dr. Fine's credentials in corporate America are currently Dr. Fine serves as a co-host of the It's Your Business radio show on KRH 92.9 FM in St. Louis and a co-host of Nationwide Daily Radio Show on my Genre Radio Network on the Zeno Media platform. In 100 cities, he is also on a daily TV show on the Valuable TV and the Real TV networks. Go and get a copy of How to Promote Your Business with Limited Money today.
To purchase your copy of How to Promote Your Business with Limited Money, go to It's Your Business website at www.itsyourbusinessradio.com.
If you're looking for a new informative health and lifestyle show to gain knowledge and inspiration to help guide your journey to think, work, and live more powerfully, then you need to listen to Sage Advice with Melissa. Now, whether you're trying to improve your life from a mental, physical, or spiritual journey, Sage Advice with Melissa Coleman, CEO of Sage Skincare, delivers weekly advice from industry experts to provide you with insightful suggestions to allow you to thrive with a better quality of life. Melissa's mission? To guide you through the uncharted waters of health and wellness and to give you a voice to help improve your life. So be sure to tune in to Melissa. You'll be glad you did.
Hey, listeners, saying thanks to your customers is nice and polite, but expressing your gratitude in memorable and ongoing ways can boost your business. At Promo Experts LLC, we exceed our customers' expectations. For over 20 years, our product knowledge and experience has helped them with their marketing initiatives and trade show graphics. We are happy to put that experience to work for you. Quality products, great customer service, and prices are our number one priority. We work with you to find unique, creative, and new ideas that fit your image and expectations, helping you build strong relationships with your customers. When you select Promo Experts as your marketing partner, we help you to see more than the big picture. For more information about this exciting opportunity, contact Diane Carson, President, at 636-458-5241. That's 636-458-5241. Let Promo Experts help you to move your business brand beyond the bland. Have you always wanted to write your own book but don't know where to start? Publishing Concepts, a publishing company located right here in St. Louis, offers everything from consulting, book printing, copyrights, ISBNs and barcodes, print book layout, ebook and iBook layout, graphic design, cover design, ghostwriting, typing and editing, distribution, marketing, and more for an affordable price. Visit publishingconceptsllc.com or just Google Publishing Concepts to get started today, or call 314-781-8880. That's 314-781-8880. Publishing Concepts. We help you sell more books.
In today's economy, there are more people looking to buy and sell businesses than ever before. When a company owner needs to sell their business, they can't just stick a for sale sign in the window. They need the assistance of a business broker to locate and vet potential buyers. On the other side, buyers rely on the broker to help facilitate the process of evaluating potential businesses and franchises for sale. A Transworld Business Advisor is the solution for both scenarios. Transworld Business Advisors focus on three core concepts: business brokerage, franchise consulting, and franchise development. Transworld has specialized in the sale of business and commercial real estate. Today, Transworld Business Advisors is a global network of brokers offering a turnkey solution for those that want to build a solid business and future for themselves while maintaining a balanced quality of life. With our comprehensive training program, full marketing support, and local field support, you won't have to start from scratch. Our trained experts and members will help you every step of the way. Transworld Business Advisors has 40 plus years of experience, 10,000 plus businesses sold, and 600 plus brokers, 250 offices worldwide. For a free initial consultation, call Charlie Scarlett, business broker, or Billy Rowland, business broker, at 636-400-6100. Again, that's Charlie Scarlett, business broker, or Billy Rowland, business broker, at 636-400-6100.
Do you want to become a radio show host, or do you want to create a radio show? Well, Dr. Stan Fine can help you to have your own radio show and put you on 100 cities daily across the U.S. And you can immediately start recording from a live radio studio. As a radio industry veteran, Dr. Stan Fine has 12 years of experience and has produced and hosted over 1,000 radio shows with over 10 million listeners. Dr. Stan Fine knows how to make this happen for you. He's a pro, and he can turn your dreams into a reality. Dr. Stan Fine will help you with everything from learning how to promote your show, develop a host persona, interview techniques, market your show on social media, teach you how to get guests and sponsors, and more. Dr. Stan Fine can put you on the air nationwide daily to 100 cities. If you're interested in making your dream come true, if you want to see how it all works, then give Dr. Stan Fine a call at 314-710-8413. That's 314-710-8413. You've got nothing to lose, and Dr. Stan Fine can help make your nationwide radio dreams come true.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to part 2 of It's Your Business radio show. I am your co-host, Melissa Coleman. My co-host, Dr. Stan Fine, is not with us today. He is recovering from some health issues, but will be back with us soon. So we're sending lots of good vibes his way, lots of loves and prayers and all that good stuff. But we are a small business radio show helping small business help itself. And today we are talking about nonprofits, and we have the beautiful Kathy Lambert with us from KBL Impact Partners. She has created this amazing company to really help nonprofits move themselves forward based on her 25 plus years, was it, with connections?
Yeah, I've been
in
in the
total?
nonprofit sphere over 25 years.
Okay. And bringing all that experience into a 12-week boot camp that she and her husband Brad have created. So we're going to share that with you some more in this second half, and then again let you know how to reach out and get them. Next boot camp, Kathy said, as we were ending,
Is going to be either probably around June or July.
Okay.
We haven't quite set the date. And the name of it is called Frame Up for Funding, which is our 12-week class. We do it on Zoom. So it doesn't matter where you are, and you can always join. And it's just been amazing. Throughout the 12 weeks since we started, we've worked with over 60 organizations. And
That's
they
incredible.
collectively have raised over $3 million in the 12 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
It's a lot of
Incredible.
fun.
Yes. No, I love what we've been talking about today. I just want to remind everybody we are with you every Saturday from noon to 1 on KXOK 102.9 FM, also on KWRH 92.9 FM simultaneously. Again, that's every Saturday here locally in St. Louis. Then we are with you Monday through Fridays from 9 to 10 a.m. and then again 1 to 2 p.m. on I'm sorry, let me correct that, 10 to 11 a.m. and then 1 to 2 p.m. Monday through Fridays. You can find all of our platforms where we are appearing on usradionetwork.com. Just go there, find St. Louis, and you can find our show, and it will have everything you need to know to catch up and stay in tune with us. So, Kathy, we are discussing what your amazing company is doing for our nonprofits worldwide, really, because you were telling me you're working with a gentleman in Tanzania.
Yes.
So
it's actually a woman.
A woman, sorry.
That's all right.
Okay.
But
I
she
thought you
has
said a
started a
gentleman.
program in Tanzania. Yeah. We're also working with an organization. It's a Dress for Success organization in Serbia
Okay.
and also within the UAE.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's so exciting, and exciting to see the mission of what individuals, the passions that they have and the work that they're doing to really help to scale that social impact.
Mhm. And where did they find you? I mean, how did they come to KBL Impact Partners?
You
Or
know, it
did they
was through
just
social media.
Okay.
It's been referrals. Maybe they knew of someone else that went through it and knew.
Mhm.
And it's just right now, I have a waiting list actually starting for our next cohort.
Wow.
So, so I'm thinking about we may need to do 2 at the same time. So
Yes.
it's really exciting and growing. And I hope you don't mind if I jump in, but I
No,
got
not
so
at all.
excited listening to you talking about what with your small business
Mhm.
and the small business radio. And one of the things that I think is really fascinating and an opportunity for small businesses and nonprofits is how they can partner together for social impact.
Mhm.
We always encourage the large companies and corporations. However, there's also opportunities with the small business and with with a nonprofit
Mhm.
and how it can align, and actually partnering together could be great for their business
Right.
and also for the nonprofit. So really doing good at the same time.
Mhm. No, that's amazing. That actually sparked another thought for me because we met with a company, and I cannot for the life of me remember who it is, but they are all about setting up the nonprofit, like helping you get your board in place
Right.
and all of that. So how important is it for boards to have the right types of board members? Also, when you think of picking those board members, that they have companies that have means and opportunities, because I think that's equally important on those boards, as well as
It
having
is.
members that are there because of the mission and vision of that organization.
Right. And I would say that there's different stages of board development and along with the organization. So if you're at a beginning stage with a nonprofit, a founder, someone, and even myself, I had 3 board members, right,
Mhm.
that really believed in what we were doing and were right there at the beginning and helping. And then as I started doing the work, I recognized that I needed different types of board members that would be more of a working board
Mhm.
because I didn't have any staff. I needed to have board members that were passionate, that maybe had more of a skill set
Right.
that could help with finance, that maybe somebody from marketing. So they were really strategically in place. However, and you also need to remember the funding piece,
Yes.
right? As you just mentioned. So as that organization is growing and growing with the impacts they're having, then strategically needs to look to say, what types of companies, businesses do I need to align with? Do our organizations need to align with?
Mhm.
And organizations and companies today are really there's a shift that's happening within a lot of companies where their giving maybe came out of, let's say, if they had a foundation area and then they had other different pockets of giving. Well, now what they're doing, they're shifting more to have that corporate social responsibility to align also with their corporate boards, with their economic, social, and governance of what they have to meet.
Mhm.
So they're flanging those up, which is great for nonprofits to be able to take a look at the companies and even small businesses are taking a look at how can we go deep with a nonprofit. And by deep meaning, so many times as a nonprofit, we see businesses or companies just for sponsorships.
Mhm.
And there's so much more than that.
Right.
So, for example, I'm going to take a larger company that they may have an opportunity for their employees to get engaged to volunteer. They may be, for example, a bank. They could come in and do financial education, right?
Mhm.
A lot of companies are now looking as a way to keep their employees engaged
Mhm.
because they're having that turnover. We also had that great resignation happening. Now they're trying to keep their employees. And so a way is for them to also be engaged with a nonprofit.
Mhm.
And so being able to help them. And then they're looking at skill-based opportunities.
Mhm.
So where maybe it's a business that is focused on marketing, and they'll go to with a nonprofit and say, you know what, maybe for this year, we'll take on your marketing aspect of it. So that way, then in their marketing department, or maybe they're a marketing business, they'll take that organization on.
Mhm.
And so there's volunteer opportunities. Many companies will have a matching gift policy where they'll be able to match if an employee gives a financial donation to a nonprofit, they will match that gift.
Mhm.
So, for example, I know like Boeing here in St. Louis,
Yeah.
and while they're international, they could be anywhere. Any of you listening, they will match, dollar for dollar. And I think it's maybe $100 minimum, but up to $10,000.
Mhm.
And so there may be other criteria, like that employee may have to be a full-time versus part-time, right?
Right.
But there's employee matching programs. There's over $7 billion that is left on the table
Wow.
with companies to match employee giving.
That's a lot of money.
It's a ton of money.
Yeah,
and the challenge is that many times companies will have this in place, but it doesn't always get translated down to the employee.
Mhm.
And maybe it did when the employee started. However, they've been there a long time and just never thought about it, or maybe they weren't involved with a nonprofit or a charity. And then as time grew, they were, but didn't realize it. So really what we teach in our class also is for that nonprofit
Mhm.
to take ownership of that
Right.
and be able to, and as you mentioned, even having like a board member, right? Ask your board members,
Mhm.
does your company have a matching gift program?
Right.
And then on their website to have a banner. When they give on their website, does your company have a matching gift program?
Mhm.
So matching gifts, volunteers, they also is sponsoring events. However, what I'm seeing is especially a lot of major companies
Mhm.
are taking a look at how they sponsor, and they want to have more impact in the programs.
Mm.
So there's kind of that shift
Right.
that's happening too. So we always, again, it's a matter of when you're meeting with a company, if you're a nonprofit, ask them, what are they looking for engagement?
Mhm.
And then go back and put something together for that business or for that company,
Right.
and to be able to do that. And then many times they'll have grant programs through a company, and that may be an online process.
Mhm.
So there's many different ways of developing that relationship with a corporation, and then even if a small business, and there's what it does for that business, that company. It can help with that employee retention.
Right.
It helps them meet the requirements that they may have also for that social responsibility of giving back. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter really if it's environmental, if it's social, is it, what is it that they're doing that's making that impact?
Mhm.
So it helps them check their boxes as well.
Right.
So it can be great, and cause-based marketing.
Mhm.
A lot of times with small business, being able to align with a nonprofit organization, people in the community are taking note of that.
Yes.
So somebody may buy your product or service because they know that you're in alignment with a certain organization
Mhm.
that goes along with what that values of the company.
Yes, which is really, I think that as we were talking during break, that social impact
Right.
that I think so many companies are really looking to move into
Yes.
and have started. And let me ask you, for any of our for-profit business listeners that might be listening, is there a benefit on that tax side
Yes.
of partnering with a nonprofit?
Absolutely, there is. There's the tax benefits for making their donation back to a nonprofit. Absolutely, there is.
Mhm.
And there's also, I think, too, like even taking a look at for their employees for volunteering. If an employee, they get, I think the average, like even per mile for a volunteer is like, what is it? Is it 69 cents or something
Ooh.
like that? I mean, it's up
That's
there.
high.
It is. And then the value for a volunteer for that nonprofit, I'm just thinking about even like thinking of the ROI with all of this and
Right.
how it can really go back. But for that for that nonprofit for a volunteer. I think the average is around $29 an hour
Mhm.
for that of what an average volunteer. I mean, think about the nonprofits that you're involved with,
Mhm.
and many nonprofits are volunteer driven. And when you add up all of those hours, board members, same thing, right? Because you're volunteering.
Mhm.
So thinking of the value of what those volunteers add, that also is something of value when you're approaching a funder.
Right. Right.
And a
Yeah.
funder wants to know, number one, with your board, does your board have 100% giving? They want to see that. Do
Mhm.
you have volunteers engaged with you? What does that look like? Also, in-kind donations, right? That adds up tremendously.
Mhm.
So even if you're a smaller nonprofit that may not have a staff, but you're volunteer driven, you can show by all the work that you're doing, by the volunteers you have, the in-kind donations, really that impact the community is having within your organization.
Mhm. There's so much. I feel like we could go down the rabbit hole.
We could go way down the rabbit
hole. But we're
We
going to
could.
promote KBL right now. So let's get back to this, and what which we really just talked about here, that alignment and shift in companies working with nonprofits, which is like huge. So we want to definitely encourage all of our for-profit businesses to look at this as an option, because it really does help and give back to the community.
It does.
Yes.
And it helps to, I really think that today, even the younger generation, right?
Are very much socially
Yes,
driven.
they are
Yes.
very social driven and looking at social impact, and especially, environmental issues.
Mhm.
They're looking at, with animals and, and people, and what is your business doing to make that social impact?
Yes.
And then taking a look at that and finding out, I just encourage you, if you're not in alignment with a nonprofit, to really seek one out. Take a look at your values and find one that you as a business could also support.
Absolutely. No, I love that. What are or how does your business stay up to date with trends and best practices in the nonprofit sector, and how you incorporate that knowledge into your work with your clients?
So we're constantly networking with foundations, corporations, and donors to learn about their giving and really what they're seeing within the industry. I keep up with a lot through the independent sector, which is national organization that stays on top of legislation and what's happening within the nonprofit world. A lot of it is really taking a look and having those relationships with those companies, with foundations, and again, seeing what the trends are. What do they see as far as what they're looking for? A lot of what companies, donors, foundations are looking for right now with nonprofits, they want to see the impact. And what I mean by that is they want to see, what is the social return on investment?
Mm-hmm.
What is the financial return? What's your ROI?
Right.
And tell me about your outcomes and measurements. And so that's something that we're constantly doing within our class. So we learn a lot from donors and the corporations and foundations. We also learn a lot from our nonprofits.
Mm-hmm.
So we listen to them, and we can learn so much from them, just even nationally, internationally. And then if we don't know, because a lot of times I may not know, but we'll go and we'll research and see what we can do to help meet a need that they may have. And then we also work within our classes, but also outside of that, we work one-on-one with nonprofit organizations as well.
Mm-hmm.
So then we can dig deep with them. And so we help them to see and to look to see what's working,
Right.
what's working well, where are those gaps, and then where that gap is, how can we help to go deep with that?
Mm-hmm. And let me ask you, having been in the nonprofit world pretty much most of your career, are there like forums and gatherings that take place like in different parts of the US or even overseas that nonprofits can come together, and even like magazines or newspapers that are specifically driven for nonprofits.
Yes, they're definitely like there's philanthropy, there's social innovation. Social innovation has a publication as well as throughout the year. They also have different events. They have webinars. I think it's philanthropy, the Chronicle of Philanthropy. They also have the same type of thing. There's lots of resources. There's also, which is AFP, which is the Association for Fundraising Professionals, which is on a local level. And there's organizations. I would ask if any of the nonprofits, wherever you are, whatever city, look to see if there's a nonprofit group that also you could belong to. There's generally there's so many opportunities within different cities, different places that also offer support services for nonprofits as well. And online, LinkedIn offers different courses and free things, which is wonderful.
Yes.
There's on social media, on Facebook, you can look up KBL Impact Partners. We have a special Facebook page. So you can join different groups, even through social media as well.
Okay. Yes, because I figured there has to be those things. Although new to the nonprofit world, I haven't even ventured to look for all of that. I feel like my brain cannot take on one more thing right now.
There's a lot.
Yes.
There's a lot.
And I'm like you. I'm like, oh, I'm thinking about all these things I could be doing. Yes.
I know.
Yes. We're going to settle down. Believe it or not, we are coming up on the end of our show. I know it goes so fast. Yes. I always feel like certain subjects, you need like a whole nother half hour, but we don't have that opportunity. But I definitely see you coming back on our show again and sharing some more. I think this is like really an untapped market. It's like we know the nonprofit world is out there, but I don't think anyone fully understands what goes into it and what is needed to sustain them. And so no, I am so thrilled to have had you here, but I want you to share one more time how everybody reaches out and gets a hold of you and your company. And
so thank you so much. It's been really a pleasure to be here. And everyone, you can reach out to us on our website at www.kblimpactpartners.com. That's KBL Impact Partners with an S.com. And we just launched our digital form for our training that will be helpful for those. Maybe you're looking for more of a self-paced learning style. So we just launched that. We also have different opportunities in regard to our class, our 12-week class that we launched. And we do that on Zoom. We do that live. And then we also offer executive coaching, training, and consulting as well.
Very awesome. All right, Miss Kathy, any last minute tip or trick to keep your nonprofit going?
So I guess that the biggest thing is right now too, is that just one, and I would love another time to talk about our boards, the nonprofit boards. And the more engaged your board is, the more that you're strategic, and being able to have the right board members will really help with that alignment and the executive director working together to take the organization up to that next level. And I just want to encourage, if you're a nonprofit, I just want to encourage you. I want to thank you for what you're doing, the hard work, the calling that you have to do this work, because it is not for the faint-hearted.
No.
And you're definitely making an impact. So continue to do the work that you do and striving every day and knowing that it matters what you do.
All right. Thank you again for joining us, Kathy. Everyone have a great week, and we'll see you here next time.
Thank you.
Bye.